Assalamu alaikum and welcome to myQuranSheikh.com. So this is another lecture in our series of learning Noorani Qaida, and today we'll be starting a new new lesson from Noorani Qaida, which is known as Tanween. Previously we were learning about short vowels, and today we'll be covering Tanween. What is Tanween? When do we pronounce it? And what are the different rules of Tajweed which are associated with Tanween. We basically covered that we had three types of short vowels: Fatha, Kasra and Dhamma, or commonly known as Zabar, Zir and Pesh. The symbol of Tanween is an extension of the symbols that we use for short vowels. As you can see, we're using this Fatha sign on top of Meem to denote a Fatha or Zabar Tanween, and then we have this Kasra Tanween, and then we have this Dhamma Tanween. Alright? And the only difference is in terms of pronunciation that we add a letter or a sound of N or Noon at the end of this. So like Meem Fatha was Ma, but now Meem Fatha Tanween would be Man, and Meem Kasra Tanween would be Min, and Meem Dhamma Tanween would be Mun. As you can also see that whenever we add a Fatha Tanween or we have a Fatha Tanween, we also add the letter Alif to it as well. Alright, as you can see in all of these, whenever we have a Fatha Tanween, we add a letter Alif. It is not pronounced, it's just like it's denoted in Arabic language like this. So be careful of like not pronouncing this Alif as a long vowel or something like that. It's just a denotion that we use for a Fatha Tanween. Alright, so we'll probably be covering the uses of Tanween in our grammar series if we ever do one. But for now, you just need to understand what is Tanween, what are the different subcategories of Tanween, like Fatha Tanween, Zabar Tanween, Kasra Tanween, Zir Tanween, and then Dhamma Tanween or Pesh Tanween. Alright, so there are several rules that are applied when a Tanween is pronounced. Tanween is not always pronounced in a similar way. It can be pronounced in at least 4 different ways based on the letter that is coming after the Tanween. Alright, so before we even begin to practice this takhti or this lesson, I'll first try to cover all of those 4 types of sounds, maybe with a couple of examples, and then we can start practicing this takhti. Alright, so I found this illustration somewhere online, and I'll probably link it in the description as well. This is pretty much it as in terms of the letters that we look for after a Tanween and the rules that we apply according to that letter. So first is we have Izhar. In case of Izhar, we do a very firm Noon sound, just like Man, Min, Mun. Whenever we have Izhar letters after the Tanween, we pronounce it like this, very clear. All of these Izhar letters are 6 halaqi letters: Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ain, Ghain, Kha. Alright, so there's nothing complicated there. And similarly, in case of an idgham, we basically drop the Noon sound and we combine it with the next letter. So like in case of a Meem Fatha Tanween, we do it Mai or Mau, something like this. And then in case of a Ba, we drop the Noon sound and we pronounce it with a Meem sound. Like if we have Noon Sakin and then we have a Ba, like let's say Mim Ba'di, so we'll pronounce it like Mim Ba'di. So rather than a Mim sound, we are pronouncing it with a Meem sound. Alright. And for every other letter that comes after the Tanween, which is not covered in Iqlab, in Idgham, or in Izhar, that would be considered an Ikhfa letter, and it will be pronounced as you're kind of hiding the sound of Noon in our nose. Alright, so like Ma, Min, Mun. So these are the 4 rules that will be applying whenever we have a Tanween or a Noon Sakin, that we'll cover later on as well. So make sure that you recognize these letters and you kind of memorized these letters so that you're able to identify which rule to apply, and then with practice you'll be able to apply them to perfection. All right, so I think that's it for this one. In our next lecture, we'll start practicing with all of these letters that we have with Tanween. Make sure that you understand all of the four rules that we have covered in this lecture. If you guys have any questions or if you guys are unclear about something, you can drop it in the comments and I'll try to be as responsive as I can be, or maybe even make an explanatory video on one of these two. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next lecture where we will be covering or like practicing the Tanween rule that we just learned.